I'm originally from upstate New York, and is from an area where we wear lots of clothing and layers because it's very cold, probably 8 months out of the year. But in that time when I was living in upstate New York, I was always a little self-conscious about my chest and that it was small. But because you weren't exposing yourself many months out of the year, it was something that I could easily avoid. 2 years ago, I moved to Sarasota, Florida, and I'm boating all the time and wearing bikinis and on the beach, and just it's a much more fun lifestyle. But I was always self-conscious and going out with friends and going to clubs and going to the beach because of my chest size was always so much smaller, and I'm constantly looking around and comparing myself to the other girls. So since I'm moving to Florida, I was really self-conscious about my chest size and had given a lot of thought into breast augmentation. And about maybe 6 months ago, I started researching the other surgeons in the area. I wanted to stay local in Sarasota and have my procedure done in the city because I didn't want to have to travel all the way to Tampa or on the east coast of Florida. If any complications arose, I wanted to make sure I was home in my comfort zone. And then I did a lot of research on the internet and came across Dr. Sessa and had a consultation with him and Chris. That consultation lasted probably close to 2 hours, and they really made me feel extremely comfortable in my decision, and they spent a long time just trying to figure out what size that I should be. And I think that is every girl's biggest concern. They don't want to be too big, they don't want to be too small, because what was the point of the surgery? That was always my biggest stress. And I had visited approximately 4 other offices, and no doctor office had ever given me that much time in an initial consultation. No one had worked with me at lengths that Dr. Sessa had over the size and the procedure and all of my questions and concerns, so I felt extremely comfortable working with him and his staff. And it was a very easy decision to make at that point. I was comfortable in who I was working with, and I think I signed up for the surgery 2 weeks after that initial consultation. I was that comfortable with his office. What I also liked the most about Dr. Sessa's office was that the surgery would occur right here at the office. They have their own operation room. And I did not like the fact of going to a hospital to have the procedure done. That made me really nervous. I had never had any operations previous. So I really liked the fact that you're in a small surgery center right here in the office. I had my surgery November 2nd in the morning, and I had never had surgery before, so I was extremely nervous about the feelings I would be going through and the whole experience. Never been under anesthesia before. I just had never been that vulnerable in my life, so I was very nervous going into the surgery. But as soon as I came to the office and I sat down with the anesthesiologist and the other nurses, I was put at ease immediately. They're just such wonderful people. I still think about my experience having the surgery and the nurses. I'm just always touched by how kind and compassionate they were to me through the whole experience. Everything went well. Dr. Sessa had come out in the recovery room to say that it was textbook procedure, so I felt very good going home. Even after the first week, you're still wearing the supportive sports bra that Dr. Sessa gives you after surgery, and that's to keep the chest pushed down so that the implants rest normal to your body. And even with a sports bra, wearing my clothing looked just so much better. Everything you wear looks so much nicer because you're filling out the clothes, and already my confidence was incredibly boosted just a few days after the surgery. Probably 2 weeks until I felt actually okay with talking to people about it and being really open about the procedure and being a little more experimental with my clothing and being more confident about the experience. And then about a month did I actually feel that they were a part of me. And now I feel like I've always had a chest like this. It's been very normal for me to have the augmentation. It feels like it was just something I was supposed to have, that my body was meant to have this. So it has been an incredible self-esteem enhancer. I used to always work out a lot. If you were to ask any of my friends who's the biggest fitness nut, it would be me. I would work out twice a day. Even though I'm not overweight, I always just felt like I had very large leg muscles, a large butt. I was very conscious about that part of my body, and so I would work out as hard as I could to reduce that size. But after the surgery, when I first looked at my body after having the implants, it occurred to me like a ton of bricks. I did not expect this, that really I didn't have huge legs and a butt. I just didn't have the proportion, the curves. And I'm not so much of a workaholic anymore. I take fitness as fun and in stride. I don't kill myself over working out anymore, because really I was just fine, but I definitely had a body image issue going on, and it was because of the proportion. So that was probably one of the biggest unexpected reactions that I had coming out of the surgery. My body was just more proportionate. People thought I lost weight. People who didn't know I was going through the surgery just looked at me and thought I lost tons of weight. But it was just that my body was more proportioned. The top was more proportionate to the body at the bottom. And so that was really interesting. People actually thought I lost weight because of the procedure. One of my biggest stresses over this procedure was with the scars. I was afraid because I've never seen anyone, I've never seen the scars that anyone has had from breast augmentations or any type of cosmetic surgery. So I was really nervous about what the scars would actually look like. They're only 3 centimeters long. They're underneath the boob and very not visible at all in a bra or a bikini, because they're just underneath where the breast hangs. So they aren't visible at all, and they really aren't much longer than an inch just by looking at them. Right now, because I just had the surgery November 2nd, it's only been 2.5 months. They're still red in appearance, kind of like bruised, but I see improvements every week. They get less red and appear much smaller. I apply a scar kind of ointment to them every day, and I feel like it has helped a lot in the healing process. The reason why I had my surgery done with Dr. Sessa was because of so many things. He's a wonderful person. I like that he was younger, because if I had to have the implants removed in 10 years, he'd still be around. And I felt very comfortable with him, his staff in the office. He takes a lot of pride in the business that he's created. Having a surgical center in-house like this, I know is not a very, it's not an inexpensive way of running a business. I know that it costs him a great deal of expenses to do that, but I know he did that to make it easier and more comfortable for his clients. And I really respected that and appreciated that. I just loved his staff. His staff always made me feel after leaving the office that I was doing the right thing. You're going into a procedure like this has many stresses and anxieties, but I always left the office feeling that I was making the right decision, and it was because of the support and the compassion that I got from Dr. Sessa himself and the staff. Ever since the surgery, another question you get from people is, who did the operation? Where did you go? And I'll mention Dr. Sessa every time and go on and on and on about how much I liked working with them and how comfortable everything was and how it just went so smoothly. I have recommended him to several friends already, and who I believe in a year or two's time will probably be visiting with him for their specific needs.